All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the NFL tier list part two. This time we're doing an actual tier list on how I think each teams are going to perform this season. Um, and I wasn't originally going to make this, but I kind of wanted to just make another one. Um, but the thing is, I'm not the best. I'm not the most knowledgeable. Probably there gonna be some decisions here that people are gonna be like, "There's no way you put them that high and no way you put them that low." But we're gonna see we're just gonna go from here. We're gonna see what happens. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create two tiers. We're gonna add a row above, and we are going to. I'm actually just gonna delete this one pick contention for this. Um, and I'll explain why I'm adding these in a second. So first of all, this last tier, we're gonna put this tier as Cardinals. Now, why do I think? And we're gonna put this one as Rams. So I'll explain this first. So the reason I'm doing this is I was thinking to myself, if you have, let's say you're ranking college basketball players and you put LeBron in there, like he's in his own league, right? It's completely different. It's not fair to rank them. So I think the Cardinals are so bad and the Rams are so good that they can't be ranked fairly with these other teams. And so here's what I mean. So Cardinals obviously their schedule's pretty rough. Um, and there's a lot of talk going around that they could possibly go 0 and 17. And I think this is really funny, and I kind of hope they do go 0 and 17. Um, but honestly, I don't know. I really hope they do go 0 and 17. And the Rams, a lot of you might know, they just picked up Myles Garrett. And dude, no one's beating the Rams. The only team that I think will beat the Rams once is the Seahawks. I think the Rams are going to go 16 and 1 and probably win the Super Bowl because they're just unbeatable now, unless like Stafford gets hurt. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do for those two teams. But we're just going to get started here. We're going with the Saints. Now, I want to put Saints in playoff teams, and here's why. The NFC South, I feel like, could all be playoff teams. Because here's the thing, I could see any four of these teams winning it this year. Obviously, it came down to the Panthers and Buccaneers last year, but the Falcons were up there. The Saints were kind of below, but like Tyler Shuck or whatever, Tyler Show or Shuck, I don't know how you pronounce it. I keep hearing Shuck, but whatever. Their quarterback is really good. They had a decent draft. Like I could see any four of these teams winning it. I'm gonna keep the Panthers up here in playoff. I'm gonna put these three down here, missing playoffs. However, I do see any of these four teams could be swapped with the Panthers for winning it. Like it really does not matter. Um, so yeah. Next up, we got the Dolphins. I don't think they're number one pick contention. I do think Malik Willis is going to be good for them, but they traded away Jalen Waddle. They don't have Tyreek Hill, obviously, um, which I don't think they even had him last season. So I don't think they're number one pick contention, but they're not going above 5 and 12 in my opinion. I like they got a hard schedule. They're not going to do well this year. Ravens are Super Bowl contenders. Now, at first, when I saw people ranking the Ravens this high, I was like, "There's no way." Um, because they didn't do that great last season. The last season, Lamar was hurt for most of it, and I think they had a decent draft. Like I do think the Ravens could be Super Bowl contender. Super Bowl favorites, I don't know. I do think the NFC is going to win it again this year in the Super Bowl. So we'll get to that. Bengals are a playoff team. They're going to be a wild card because they probably won't win the division. I do think the Ravens are going to win the division, but I do think the Bengals could definitely come away with a wild card. We heard Joe Burrow say that the squad he has right now is the best squad he had in his few years as the quarterback, and obviously he could just be making that up. But I do believe the Bengals are going to have a good season this year, way better than last year. And I'm very excited to see what they're going to do. Broncos are a Super Bowl contender, and I'll put them above the Ravens. This could be me being biased as the Broncos are my team. However, we have Bo Nix. He's an amazing quarterback. Despite whether you like it or not, he is a good quarterback. And we just picked up Jalen Waddle, who's an amazing wide receiver. So now he has Sutton and Waddle that throws to instead of freaking Marvin Mims. Our defense is still arguably the best in the league, except maybe the Texans or Seahawks. Um, we got like Nick Bonito and Pat Surtain. Uh, we got decent running backs. You know, we got like a lot of good. The only positions I think we could use help in would maybe be our tight end. We still don't have that situation figured out, but that's fine. Our kicker's even pretty good, Bill Lutz. But I do think we are Super Bowl contenders. We probably would have made it last year if Bo Nix didn't get hurt. So I do. Will we win the Super Bowl this year? Again, I think it's going to be the Rams on the NFC side. So I don't know about that, but we'll just see what happens. We do have a harder schedule, so I think making the playoffs will be harder, but we'll probably get a wild card. Giants are going to be missing the playoffs. I will put them. No, I'll put them below the NFC South teams. The Giants did get better, and Jackson Dart is a good quarterback objectively, or I don't know about objectively. I just don't see them getting a wild card this year. I see them getting a better record. You know, maybe they're not going to be fighting for the number one pick like with they were with the Raiders last year, but I just don't see them getting better, that much better. I see them going 7 and 10, maybe 8 and 9 if they're lucky, but I don't know. They're in still a competitive or decently competitive division with the Eagles, Cowboys, and Commanders. I think all being better than them, but we'll see. Jaguars are a playoff team, and I'll put them above the Panthers. So again, I don't know if they're going to make the Super Bowl, um, because I feel like the AFC playoffs this year are going to be super competitive. Where the NFC is just going to be the Rams dominating. The AFC playoffs, I mean, you're going to have Ravens, you're going to have Broncos, you're going to have Jags, you're going to have probably Texans again, Bills. Like it's going to be very competitive. I don't see the Jags making it past the divisional round. I do think they'll make it past the first round this time. Trevor Lawrence is a pretty good quarterback, and they obviously got Liam Cohen as their coach, plus that elite kicker, bro, set multiple records this year. But I just don't see them making it past the divisional round. But I could be proven wrong. We'll see. Vikings are going to be. I've heard people talk like they're gonna. I'll put them at the top of missing playoffs. Um, I I've heard a lot of people say they're gonna be really good this year. I just don't see Kyler Murray or who's their other guy, um, JJ McCarthy. I don't see either of their quarterbacks being that good. Um, Obviously, I could be wrong again. I just don't see them becoming like a wild card team. I definitely don't see them winning the division. But Lions, however, Lions have a really easy schedule. If you look at the Lions' schedule, they're going to be very good. Again, I don't see them winning the division, but they'll probably make playoffs. They'll probably end with a record of like 11 and 6, 12 and 5. Again, will they make it that far in the playoffs? That's to be decided. Like, is their defense going to be good enough? You know, all that. But I do see them becoming a wild card team. Bears are definitely Super Bowl contenders. I even put them above the Ravens. Um, Now again, they're going to get destroyed by the Rams probably in the playoffs. But the Bears are a very good team. Caleb Williams, you know, I know there's a bit of controversy about him. Uh, he's the Iceman though. You know, they also got freaking their wide receiver Luther or something. I can't remember his name. Luther Burden, I think, is his name. But he's very good. I mean, the Bears have shown to clutch up last year a lot. Despite having a rough start to the season, I think they will be good. I haven't actually looked at the Bears' schedule yet, but if it's anything like the Lions, and they've got a decently easy schedule. 49ers are a playoff team. They will. No, they're going to be a wild card team. Here's why. I do think Seahawks, like the Rams, are going to win the division. 49ers then will be just a wild card. Because this is for division winners, and then division winners up here. So yeah, I don't know. I think the 49ers will be good this year. They were good last year. I just don't see them making it far in the playoffs again. And it's both playoffs. I'm so ready for the playoffs already for 2027 because I think they're just going to be amazing on both conferences. Like we're gonna have some elite games come out of that playoffs. Yeah, Eagles are definitely a playoff team. I will put them with the Panthers. I'll put them below the Jags though. They're most likely going to win their division again. Like I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, the Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders." The Cowboys are a potential wild card, but that's like very again, like there's not many wild card spots up for grabs. I think the 49ers and Seahawks are going to get two of them, and then it's going to be left to Lions and someone else to get the last one, probably Packers, in the NFC at least. And so I don't see the Cowboys being that much of a problem for the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to win the division. Again, are they going to get far in the playoffs? Probably not. They'll probably be the third or fourth seed again this year. Yeah. And then speaking of the Packers, I will put them at the above the Bengals for potential wild cards. I do think they'll get it before the Lions. Um, Obviously, they still got Micah Parsons, Jordan Love, Christian McCaffrey. Um, as much as I hate the Packers, I got to admit they are a good football team, and they probably will do pretty well this season. Raiders are going to be mediocre at best. I'll put them above the Dolphins. They do got Kirk Cousins and Mendoza now. I think they're going to start Cousins, but like they probably are better than the Dolphins, and I think they'll have a better season this year. Again, they do have a decently hard schedule playing against the AFC East, playing against the NFC West. I don't know who their random opponents are. I think they're playing the Texans, but I could be wrong about that. Um, but it's going to be difficult for them to get many wins this season. But I think they will have a better season than last year. I don't think they'll be contending for number one pick. Commanders we're going to put at the top of missed playoff teams. I don't think they're good enough for a wild card. However, I do believe that the Commanders are a good team. I see a lot of Commanders disrespect on the internet, but like Jaden Daniels is a really good quarterback. Now I think the Commanders were bad last year because they didn't like he was injured. Um, but I do think that the Commanders will do very good this season. Steelers are obviously a playoff team. No, they're not. Wait, what am I talking about? They're not even a wild card. Yeah, they're missing playoffs. Yeah, because it's going to be the two winners of the division is either going to be Ravens or Bengals. Uh, I'm sorry, old man Rogers. I don't think you're going to do it this year. Bills are definitely Super Bowl contenders. I'll even put them above the Broncos. Um, I think this is honestly the years the Bills are going to make it to the Super Bowl. Um, I was just going to put them in playoff teams, but I don't think that the Pats are going to win the division. I'll put the Pats in wild card uh, here, but again, they got a harder schedule this year. They are playing the AFC West, which does have the Broncos and the Chiefs and the Chargers, but I guess Chiefs and Chargers aren't that big of a deal. Obviously, good, but Seahawks in SB favorites. Now, um, I do think they could win the Super Bowl if they make it that far, but again, I think that the NFC Championship game is going to be Rams and Seahawks again, unless they meet earlier in the playoffs. And I think the Rams are going to beat the Seahawks. But I will put them in Super Bowl favorites because if they do make the Super Bowl, they probably will win. Browns are going to be mediocre at best. However, I'm going to put them above the Raiders and Dolphins. Again, I think they had a very good draft. While they did trade Myles Garrett to the Rams, I think they will be better this season. I do like how the Browns were like, we can't win a Super Bowl, so we're just going to screw everyone else over by making the Rams unbeatable. That's a W tactic by the Browns. The Texans, so I want to put them in Super Bowl contenders, but then I may have to move the Jags down to wild cards, which I think I'm actually just going to put them at the top playoff team. I don't know if they'll make Super Bowl contenders. I think they could easily make the playoffs this year, maybe even make the AFC Championship game. But it really comes down to if CJ Stroud is going to perform well in the on the offensive side of the ball. Now they did just pick up David Montgomery from the Lions, or not just, it was like a couple months ago, but David Montgomery is going to be very good. That's going to give them a nice running back. It's just going to come down to whether the Texans' offensive line or CJ Stroud, like if they lock in, I think they could honestly be a Super Bowl contender. So I might change these rankings when the season starts. Like we can kind of see CJ Stroud if he's going to be um, first round pick CJ Stroud or if he's going to be CJ throws 5 interceptions in a game Stroud. So we'll see that. Kansas City. I've seen a lot of Kansas City like hype, and so I will put them in potential wild cards. As much as I don't like to see it, I do think they could make the playoffs again this year. I think they might be problems for the Broncos, but we'll see. Chargers are also kind of that deal, but I think they're a bit higher. Their offensive line was buffed a bit this year. Maybe it could be actually functional. We'll see. How many wild cards? There should be 3 on each side of the ball, and I'd have or each side of each conference. I have 9 up here. I've got one, two, three, four, 5 potential wild cards. Um, but yeah, we got all the division winners up here, I believe. I don't think I have any repeats. Yeah. So Jets are a number 1 pick contention. Um, honestly, same as the Titans. I do think the Titans are better, and Cam Ward is a good quarterback. But I don't know. Actually, I want to put the Dolphins down here and the Titans up here. I actually think the Titans are going to be decent this season. Again, like they're in a competitive division with the Texans, with the Jaguars, and the Colts, who I'm going to put at missing the playoffs. Put them above the Giants, though. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think this is probably not great ratings, um, but I don't know. This is the rankings. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making it, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Uh, good luck to your guys' teams in the season, I guess. Um, and if your team is not the Packers, Chiefs, or Patriots, I hope your team does well. Kind of, maybe. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.